Brookside Mall in Pietermaritzburg is engulfed by a raging fire as the unrest in Kwazulu-Natal continues. People looting shops and other malls in the area, running into the streets with goods they clearly have stolen. Let's catch up with our reporter Karinda Jagmohan. Karinda, all right. Well, as we talk to you right now, before we bring in Karinda into the conversation, these are visuals from Kwazulu-Natal. This is inside a shop, and you can see the mess that essentially has been caused there. People still trying to make way with whatever they can get their hands on. That is the situation as it holds here in Gauteng. Our reporter Jacob on the ground. He is the one that's bringing these live pictures to us. At some point, we're hoping that we are going to be able to talk to him, because a little earlier we did witness in the area of Kwazulu-Natal some arrests as well. And so as soon as we're able to establish that line to Jacob, we are going to be able to talk to him. He has been able to get inside. We know that our reporters have also been saying that it's a bit difficult to talk to the people who are doing the looting, because there's an element of aggression for them. So whilst we try and establish the line to Jacob, who is in Gauteng, let's cross to KZN. There you see Karinda Jagmohan on screen. Karinda, you have an aerial view of the Brookside Mall, and does it continue to burn this hour?
Absolutely. I mean, take a look. The entire mall is engulfed in flames. It's completely destroyed. You can see here my colleague Jacob Zuma is behind the camera. In fact, a new part of the building has gone up in flames as well. Moments ago, this just happened about 5 minutes ago. You can see another flare up there caused by some people that are actually still inside this building. Hopefully, as we just keep our visuals on that door, on those flames, there we go. You see some of them coming out, trying to get whatever they can. This mall has been completely destroyed. In fact, the roof has caved in because of the flames. And really, when I look at it, this can never be revamped, so to say. It has to be broken down and then rebuilt because of the extent of the damage. The iron structures are completely destroyed. The better part of the mall has been damaged completely. And on the other side, we were there just some time ago and showed you people looting the checkers from the other side because of the distraction of the flames and the fire from this side. Sadly, though, the police contingent that was here monitoring this fire has just left the scene. But in the distance, Jacob Zuma perhaps can show you still people that are waiting there, trying to get their share of the loot. They are there with trolleys, and they've been making their way in and out of this mall as I come off this vehicle. And I want you to see as well, on the other side of the bridge, we have been monitoring, we've been following and watching closely the looters, so we can see their route. And it's going from this Brookside Mall under this bridge. Let's just try and take our viewers across the road, and you can see they're running, escaping with their loot, trolleys running towards the mall as well. We did hear that there was a brief police confrontation and shooting of rubber bullets, but it seems to have not stopped the looters in any way. They're still on the ground, making their way towards the mall. Some leaving the mall with the goods that they've got. You have someone with a trolley there, and this is the scenes. We saw someone carrying a mattress up this road here as well, and going into this kind of bushy area and disappearing with their loot. And this is what's happening on the ground as the fire continues to really just destroy this building. I've never seen something like this. The city, as is Durban, definitely under siege at this time.
Yeah, Karinda, while you try and establish, at least in some part, as to what caused the fire, let's bring into the picture or into the conversation Jacob, who is in the Gauteng province, Kwazulu-Natal, to be exact. Jacob, where you are, describe the situation, what you're seeing from your side.
Good morning, Koli. Well, as you can see that looters have been able to crack open the ShopRite store. The shelves are empty, the fridges are barren, and people are just running riot. At the moment, because the store is empty, the mass population has moved towards the storeroom warehouse. That's where people are there in droves, and they've got their plastic bags where they are filling as much as they can. I think it's also another indication to show how hungry people are during this COVID-19 pandemic, that a little sign of chaos and people already running for shelves where they can get some food and some drink.
Yeah.
We do know that a lot of people have lost their jobs due to the stringent COVID-19 pandemic, and of course we can see the frustrations, some of these frustrations boiling over. We can see people moving around trying to scramble for the little scraps that they can get. It is a tough period. It is protests that have been linked to the hashtag Free Zuma.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel from the scenes that I'm seeing that it's a little bit bigger than that. Yes, it is criminal activity, but it's a little bit bigger than the hashtag Free Jacob Zuma.
Yeah, Khoto, you mentioned COVID-19 and its impact, people having lost jobs. And very interestingly, the last point you touch on, I want to think that you're absolutely spot on, that this has to do with poverty now. Any sentiment from the people as to why they're doing this? Remember the hashtag you're talking about, that this has to do with former President Jacob Zuma being imprisoned. Is there such a sentiment from the people? Are you able to get a word from them?
Well, speaking to the people here in Vosloorus, many of them feel that the burning issues are that the lockdown, the stringent lockdown measures that have been put in place are really hampering their ability to go out and perhaps try cut somebody's grass or do somebody's hair in order to earn a little bit of money. And because now that they are locked down, those little jobs that put food on the table have been taken away from them, and they haven't been able to make ends meet by any stretch of their imagination. And I think it's the people who live relatively below the breadline that are feeling the full brunt and the full effects of COVID-19. And as things stand, I mean, there are people who've lost their lives, there are people who are in hospitals, there are people who are still looking to get vaccinated, but those who are out there and still hungry and looking for a way to make ends meet, life is a little bit hard, and I think these frustrations are demonstrated by what we see here today.
Yeah. Khoto, I want to challenge you a bit. Let's try and talk to those who are possibly willing to talk to you right now as you and I have this conversation. Let's allow you to try and get closer to them and put in the question about whether or not this still has to do with former President Jacob Zuma being imprisoned or not.
Yeah, I will try and find somebody who is willing to talk at the moment. I guess the people are not willing to be on camera because of the looting that is taking place. And I think for now, I think we can try and find a few people by the parking area maybe who are not part and parcel of what is happening inside ShopRite at the moment.
Yeah.
But yes, I think the situation right now, I think South Africa has always been built on using violence and criminal activities as a form of protest. And I think this is just one of those. I think the hashtag Free Zuma sparked what a lot of people have been contemplating and perhaps wanted to do, and just used this occasion to piggyback on that hashtag in trying to make their point that their frustrations are boiling over. And I think we have found a few people who'd want to talk.
All right. Let's see let's try and allow you to try and get a hold of them. All right.
I'm sure if we do, perhaps...
It's fine, Khotso. We can see.
Give it a little bit more time, we might find someone for you. But at the moment, people are a little bit camera shy because of the activities that are taking place inside ShopRite Checkers here at Naledi shopping complex in Vosloorus.
Yeah, no, it's completely understandable. People are very much aware that what they are doing is actually unlawful, and they're well aware that they are breaking the law, and it ordinarily wouldn't be easy for them to want to engage with the media. Let's try and bring in Karinda Jagmohan down in KZN. Karinda, earlier, as I broke away from you, any idea as to what it is that started this fire? Could it be the looters themselves, or is that perhaps still under investigation?
Well, that will still be under investigation. We have no confirmation that it is the looters that started this fire. But what I can tell you is that it is because of this fire that people have been able to loot. It served as sort of a distraction to law enforcement authorities to pay their attention to this side of the shopping mall, while on the other side we were there about just over an hour ago showing our viewers the looting that was taking place at the Checkers here. And what I must also tell you is that people have also come to this bridge to watch this unfold. We were just here watching on our sides, people coming, parking their vehicles, taking photos of this fire, shocked by what has happened. And if you look closely, my colleague Lungelo Zungu showing you two men there in the vicinity of the mall, and they have been in and out of the building. There's another person coming out of the building, Lungelo, you can see him pulling something there. They have been in and out of this building, and they were there when those flames started as well, another flare up by this mall. So at this point I can't confirm. It's something that police have to confirm of what exactly is the cause of the fire, but clearly upon just looking at what is happening, I'm seeing civilians entering and exiting this mall as it's on fire and dragging objects out of it. So you can see that they have a part in this, and they've really taken over this premises. What is interesting is that there is no police force inside the mall premises. I'm not seeing any authorities actually taking an active stance or an active stance to go inside the mall and stop what is happening. I only saw authorities on the highway watching over what is happening, but I don't know where the police is right now.
All right. Karinda Jagmohan, let's pause for the moment. Let's bring in Khotso Sillo. Khotso, I understand you may have managed to find someone to talk to from your side. Take it away. Khotso Sillo, can you hear us? Looks like Khotso's line may be down. It doesn't look like he can hear us anymore, but he does have someone who at least is willing to talk. The president, we know that overnight he has condemned what is going on, saying that this is a country of laws and that that is not going to be allowed. But as things stand right now, law enforcement completely overwhelmed. You can hear Karinda Jagmohan saying that there doesn't seem to be any security personnel in sight, nor the police. Karinda, you were circling that mall a little earlier as you drove up to try and get to the aerial view. Take us back to what you saw as you were making your rounds. In particular, some of the looters who you said were a little menacing, given that they were also armed.
Absolutely. While I tell you about this, my colleague Lungelo is going to show you some of the looters on the other side of the bridge. We know that they have been looting this mall because we've been watching them leave the mall, walk under this bridge and up on this road. Now, fire trucks finally arriving here. I'm unsure whether they're going to the mall or any other areas that have caught light. But as we speak and as we see these visuals, earlier we went through the major part of this mall. And we saw, there we go, these are two fire trucks as well as another supporting vehicle heading down this lane. We'll just keep an eye on where they're actually going. But yes, we were in the vicinity of this mall on the other side that is not on fire, and we saw people running into this mall. They had broken the glass of the Checkers store, taking their trolleys, going in and grabbing whatever they could. Now, we were in the parking lot seeing this unfold. I saw one man with a rifle as well as a handgun in his pants, it was, quite a tense situation. And in fact, my colleague was telling me that as we were driving through this, he could hear they were saying that they were watching our vehicle because they saw our camera inside. Extremely tense at this moment. It is difficult to approach the looters, to speak to them, and like we actually had that conversation yesterday, to actually give their side of the view. COVID-19 has disrupted everyone's lives, and we are in an economic meltdown. Our economy is on the decline, and everyone is suffering economically, and perhaps that is why we are seeing the looting that we are. But at this point, very angry looters don't want to have anything to do, Lungelo, anything to do with media, and you can see they're still continuing with what they must do. In the distance, Lungelo will show you they're still on the perimeter of the Brookside Mall there, and that's not a police presence, that's just civilians and their vehicles, and they're of course taking their trolleys in and getting whatever they can. That is the situation here in Pietermaritzburg. I understand similar situations occurring in Durban. Definitely these two cities under siege, because I must also tell you the rest of the city is closed down. It was a very quick drive from Durban to Pietermaritzburg because the roads are so quiet, because clearly people are afraid to actually go out today. I'm seeing under the bridge some police vehicles coming through. It seems like it's just 2 police vehicles there, but they're only patrolling, not necessarily stopping anyone. Those are 4 police vehicles on the highway currently, but no actual police presence here at the mall itself.
Well, police officers, as you see them on the road there, it looks like they are possibly making their way towards that particular mall. But at the moment, I suppose by the time they get there, people will have been done with whatever it is that they are doing. Look at the loot, if you want to call it that. People just helping themselves. Let's try and get to Khotsosilo. He is in the area of Vosloorus, that's here in the Gauteng province. Khotso, from your vantage point, how are things looking? It doesn't sound as though, and it doesn't look as though there are any law enforcement officers, nor security from your side.
Well, the looting is still carrying on, Koli, but I'm here with one of the people who work at the specific complex who is not happy with what just happened today.
Ngijabulanga ngibhlungu enhlizweni nje kubhlungu angazi abantu abangake silahlekele imisebenzi lana angazi ngoba bangayiboshisa ijele mangabe balolu uZuma impela ngabe boshisa lona ijele bahlukane nathi phansi because asazi sinengane sinemndeni kumele siwondle thina kubhlungu.
Wena njengoba uvuka ekseni uhlangane nesimo sinje?
Yebo ngithe mangivuka nje mangifika nje angazi ngakhala ngazi ngenze ngaphelela amandla nje nomlungu wami nje uthi make efika nje waphelela amandla like angazi for how many years lento ayisebenzele lokubhlungu yazini kubhlungu namhlanje kube nje bafike nje bamoshe bachise kanje for uZuma no.
Wena mawubukile iyo kanye indaba yakaZuma okanye enye into ekhulu ukudlula lokho?
Asokutshontsha nje akusese yakaZuma nje ukutshontsha because bamoshile bayantshontsha ukutshontsha nje.
Manje njengoba ukhuluma nabanye mawubabuza ukuthi bayenzani, ngizwile abanye bakhuluma ngama-insurance, yini le bayikhuluma bayeza laphi le indaba lezi ezingakho?
Bakhuluma ngama-insurance, thina sinama-insurance bakhuluma ngawo njengoba uphelile kanje umsebenzi solamba phela ekhaya solamba angazi ama-insurance bawathathaphi bona mhlawumbe bona banawo thina sinawo ama-insurance.
Njengoba isimo sikanjena sisi manisuka lana yini, what's your next step?
Asazi soyenzani like angazi ngizani sohlala nje ekhaya asazi bangaki maybe sibayi-40 la phakathi abantu aphelele umsebenzi kubhlungu nje kubhlungu.
Well, Koli, as you can hear, the worker absolutely distraught at what just happened. She feels that she's lost her job. The few people that she could employ have also lost their jobs due to the looting that's happening. She's saying this hashtag Zuma, Free Zuma, is not the reason why people looted. She's calling it criminal activities. And if Lesego could kindly just show us, there's chicken feet laying on the pavements. There's opened liquor. People have looted liquor stores, shampoos, food, and I think some of the companies are going to be reeling. Some of the looters, when asked why are they doing such things, they replied and said that these white companies have what they call insurance. So it's really perplexing as to, you know, where do we draw the line between criminal activity and, of course, protesting against what you believe in.
Yeah, Khotso, whilst you have the lady next to you, perhaps it may be worth asking what she thinks would be the solution to this. What is going to bring about a solution here? Who is going to bring about law and order? We saw the president address last night condemning the looting, but is there something more that they think can be done beyond just words of condemnation on a TV screen?
Sisi wena mawubukile nje khona ukwenziwa ungaphelisa lento eyenzakala la.
Mangibukile impela kukhona mangabe uRamaphosa ukhipha abantu nje bavimba yonke lento le kungaphelisa le.
Abantu kanjani amaphoyisa
amasoja aphume nje ayiqede yonke lento le. Because kubhlungu, yazi kubhlungu namanje ngazi ngibulala ngitheni. Iboss yami yena ngisakhuluma kubhlungu. Yena sengimthatha njengobaba mvelo babami kahle kahle manje bazongibona sekekhala yazi kubhlungu.
Well, the lady feels that our president Cyril Ramaphosa should release soldiers and perhaps some more police and reinforce security here in Vosloorus and townships across the country, because people feel like it's bordering criminal activity. They don't feel safe. Their livelihoods are threatened in a time where a pandemic is rife. And these scenes here are just very, very much heartbreaking, because the little bit that there is being burnt, it's being torn to tatters, and the people who are responsible for looking after the shopping complex and looking after the stores are feeling like they have nowhere else to hide. And the call is for President Cyril Ramaphosa to release reinforcements and more soldiers and security for the people here in Vosloorus.
Khotso, thank you very much for that update. That's our reporter here in Gauteng, in the area of Vosloorus. You saw that particular shopping complex completely invaded by people who just were interested in nothing else but taking for themselves. Let's try and get to KwaZulu-Natal now. Tumaule Mhlaudi is in the area of KwaMashu. Tumaule, earlier we were trying to get to you, but it simply was not safe to do so. Whereabout are you now, and what's the situation where you are?
Well, Coley, right now you find me at a BRT station, a rapid bus transit station, and it's at Avoca Hills, between Avoca Hills and KwaMashu. And the reason we moved here, Coley, was because we had to evacuate the scene that we were at initially, because protesters, or so-called protesters, were looting a depot there. Another depot has been hit, and this is in KwaMashu, and they helped themselves to alcohol. In fact, when we arrived there, there was a man who was sitting on the ground, and he seemed to be very badly hurt. What I can tell you is that at that particular point, there are no police officers at all. But this violence has spread right across. Let's look at what is happening here at the Avoca Hills BRT station. You can see that certainly a lot of damage has been done. The doors have been broken, the glass smashed and burnt. And police here on the scene are saying that they are here basically to safeguard the infrastructure. They are the metro police. We are not sure exactly what is happening in terms of the SAPS, but they said to us at the police station just outside Kwamashu, the liquor depot there, that they were understaffed and they were looking for more reinforcements. In fact, they were saying that they are stretched as thin as they can be because the violence is spreading out across various townships here in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah, Tumaula, yesterday, as I speak to you right now, there are visuals of people. We're not sure whether they are cleaning the shop or they simply looting. Yesterday, interestingly, you were at yet another warehouse that seemed to store alcohol. That warehouse completely invaded, but police did try to put up a fight. How did things end there?
Well, Koli, it ended there basically with police managing to sweep those who were converging on the liquor depot. How they did that is that they used rubber bullets, and they were met with as much force as the protesters could muster. Basically, the protesters were throwing stones at them. It was a scene where it seemed like stones were raining from every single direction. But the officers stuck to their guns, and eventually reinforcements did come, and they managed to safeguard the depot. They have said that they will maintain a strong presence outside that particular depot to ensure that criminality doesn't get the upper hand. However, they are concerned that they do need reinforcements. However, with the situation being what it is here in KwaZulu-Natal, it's very unlikely that they'll get many of those reinforcements because these protests seem to be springing up and mushrooming right across the province. And at this stage, we see that the criminal element seems to be getting in behind these particular protests and targeting establishments like liquor outlets as well as other businesses.
Yeah, Tumalo, you've had at least a good day or so in KZN since your arrival there. Your assessment as far as law enforcement is concerned. As I speak to you, we were beaming visuals just moments ago from the Brookside Mall that's in Pietermaritzburg where Karinda Jagmohan is. That particular mall completely run over. The authorities in KZN, do they seem to have a handle on this, or are they basically overwhelmed? Whilst they try and focus on the one area, another township is flaring up.
The response that we got from him in relation to that request.
All right. Dumaule Muhlaudi, our senior reporter there, I think that connection to him completely failing us at this stage. But perhaps let's stay with the visuals because you see law enforcement in what appears to be on the fringes of the township, and perhaps the law enforcement officers themselves, perhaps they slightly afraid to go inside because it's important that they also be safe and that they are not overrun by people who resort to actually throwing stones at them, and that also could be very dangerous. We'll continue watching this particular story with the closest eye that we can possibly do. As you can see, all our teams and reporters fanning out throughout here in Gauteng and in KZN. These are the two flash points as things stand right now.